Hey, YouTube fans, how you doing today? I'm back again with the Ram 1500 crank no start issue. I was doing some testing and I thought the short of disconnecting the fuel rail real quick to see if there's gas in there. I thought I would go back and test the pump if I could. And when I unplugged the fuel pump pigtail, this is what I found. So I'm like, oh, okay, so we got a short to ground, or mice chewed through it or something dumb. So I decided to order a new plug online, and the new plug came, and the wiring, two of the wires were correct because they all come with 18 gauge wire, but one of the wires is a 16 gauge and the other one's a 14. So you got to undo the clips and pull those two wires out and change them 14 and 16 gauge, get some new clips, put them in there. And I can't find my flashlight. Oh well. Okay, so I'm gonna go out and show you what I found out here. For all you people trying to hunt down this problem, trying to figure it out yourself, because I've looked all over the internet and I can't find a reason why the plugs would be burnt. I mean, some people are like, yeah, the dealership figured it out or whatever. I think they just, they don't really know. I don't know. I mean, I've never found a real issue, or a real answer out there on the internet. I'm sorry about that. Somebody drove by and they were looking at me and kind of distracted me for a second. So I'm going to show you down here real quick. Let me move. But you'll be able to. Oh, here's my flashlight. Nice. I forgot that I left it here. Okay, so put a new plug on there. I changed the wires, like I said. Shoot. I changed the wires. They're not the proper colors, but I don't really care about all that. You can undo the tape and see the proper colors up there. But this wire here is the 16 gauge, and this one over here is the 14. I changed those and left the other ones the same. And I just used a couple. I just cut them, used 2 butt connectors, and just put them on there. And like I said, this is just an old work truck. I'm just trying to make sure it stays running so I can keep making money. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna fix this in a second, tape it up some more, but I just wanted to make a video real quick. So let me move down to what I found to be the issue, and I'll explain where it was coming from, and then after I show you this real quick. So here is your plastic inner wheel well. Here's the connector, the whatever you want to call it, the connect. I don't know what style of connector that's called, but there's the wiring that runs back along the frame rail. But inside there, I opened it up, and there's a rubber ring in here. It prevented the water from getting into this, but inside of all here, before the rubber ring was caked full of like mud and water and stuff. So I think that was, it was causing it to intermittently short out, because this happened to me multiple times, like at work. My work's next to a creek, so we get a lot of fog and moisture, and here, it's just getting in there. And I'm like, well, how's it getting in there? That don't make sense. So let's go up and look at something else. So I found the wiring harness. Shoot, this one here, this guy here. Found that wiring harness, and that's the one that goes down along the firewall down there. And so I'm like looking, and everything up here is wet. This is wet. I undid this harness. This is the master cylinder here. Undid this harness, and it was wet inside there. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like looking up here. It's wet along this edge, and this, your windshield wiper here, wet along this edge. And I'm looking, like, what the hell? And this goddamn thing was missing. Oh, it's just a piece of foam. I silicone adhesive it back on, but it was down there with a crap ton of debris. I got to clean that out some more. a crap ton of debris. But what I did is I was out here cleaning ground wires and looking. I had this TIPA module completely apart. I undid it. I unconnected everything. I disconnected all the connectors from it, cleaned it out, put it all back together, looking for the rat damage or whatever I could find. Man, it was driving me crazy. And it starts, but it was intermittently still having problems. But it did leave me stranded for a few days. I had to actually have it towed back to my house. But now that I got it here, I've figured it out. It's getting wet. Everything was getting wet. All the water was going down there. So here's what was going on. The drain holes. You got to direct the water towards the drain holes. And on this side was completely plugged. You could see the water down there. It was dripping directly on that thing. And I'm like, holy shit. So I got to take that one apart and clean it up and dry it off too. But anyway, I hope that helps people, because I know that there's a lot of people out there looking and they can't figure out the problem. So I recommend you just get under there and follow your wires, man. And I did that with my trailer one time. My camper. My camper had an issue, and I just followed the wires, and it was back to the connector. It was actually a butt connector, an old school butt connector, and they must not have, either the shrink wrap broke on it, or they didn't, or it wasn't sealed right, but moisture got in it. I just cut the butt connector off, added a new one, bam, I was back in business. So you just got to look at everything. I hope that helps somebody. Peace.